Hey doing guys, it's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch, back with another review. Today it's a game called Ikaruga, which was provided to us kindly by Nicalis, so thank you very much to those guys. Now you may have noticed we've used the community tab and we made a poll asking you whether you wanted to see gameplay come earlier in our reviews. Now we've taken the feedback on board and we're going to trial it with this video review, so let us know what you think in the comment section down below. We'd love to get your thoughts. Now let's not waste any more time about that and let's see if this game is worth your hard-earned cash. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's introduce Ikaruga. It was originally released back in arcades in 2001 and subsequently made it onto the Dreamcast in 2002 and also onto the GameCube in 2003. It's also made an appearance on the 360, PC and now onto the Nintendo Switch. Story is very simple. It's about a rogue pilot named Shinra who battles an enemy nation using the ship Ikaruga. Let's get straight into the gameplay. Let's get two things out of the way about Ikaruga. It's one of the most difficult shmups you'll ever play and will certainly appeal to the hardcore gamers amongst you. It's not a traditional shooter or bullet hell game. Here you can absorb many of the bullets as long as the polarity of the ship matches the colour of the bullets being fired at you. Your ship can be flipped between black and white and your ship will fire the corresponding colour of bullets of your ship. If the bullets being fired at you are white and your ship matches the colour, you can absorb all of those bullets and debris without any issue filling up your laser blast meter. However, there will also be black bullets mixed with the white ones, and those are the ones that you're going to have to dodge, and of course vice versa. If an enemy ship is white and your ship is white, then your bullets will do damage, but this damage will be doubled if you flip to the opposite colour. Sounds a little bit complicated, but it really isn't once you get the hang of it. The danger here though is you can get killed by absorbing the wrong colour bullet, and sometimes your brain confuses what colour you're in. Then there's a scoring system, which is another thing you have to master if you want to get on those leaderboards. Hit 3 enemies of the same colour and you'll create a chain. You're able to either shoot another 3 white or black enemies, but the sequence always has to be in threes. Create a max chain and keep it going for as long as you can to amass some incredible scores. Collecting debris fills up your laser beam homing meter, which is invaluable to continue those chains just when an enemy is getting away from you or to kill something larger like a boss. Now Ikaruga, therefore, to me anyway, is a game that you'll have to spend many hours mastering, not just to beat the levels, as for me that's not what this game is all about. This game for me is taking each level, putting in many hours to master the art of scoring highly. Make no mistake, it's one of the most difficult things to do in itself. Beating the levels and the bosses are also very challenging indeed, so while this game is a masterful shooter, many will just not get to grips with it. The mechanic of switching polarities can also lead the brain to confusion as you're having to think of too many things at once. Often think of it like playing the drums. I always found it really hard to use my foot to keep the beat while using my hands to do all the work at the top end of the drum set. However, with practice you get better, and that's what this game is like. With those bullet hells, you think about just dodging bullets while killing whatever's shooting at you. Here, you have to worry about the polarity, creating chains, so it's a game I can already see that if you've got no experience of, then the game will split many of you or you'll have a mixed opinion about it. I think that's totally fair. Personally, I think the game is very good, but many will think it's super frustrating, which again is a fair point. Now, in order to leave a higher score on the servers, you must also have the game set to its default settings, which allow for 3 lives and absolutely no continues. If you want to see the whole game, then you can change the settings to allow unlimited continues or set it to a number you feel comfortable with. You can also change the amount of lives you have, but again, if you make these changes, you'll not be allowed to record those replays or high scores on the leaderboards. Now, if you want to see every level and every boss, then you're best off changing these settings and also playing in easy, even though it doesn't give you that much respite because it's still hard. The game does require a huge investment in time, so be aware of that. It also takes an unquestionable will and determination to succeed. You can't rely too much on reflexes only here. This is about knowing what's coming and in what sequence. It's about perseverance and willingness to learn. Some of the narrow corridor parts on level 2, for example, will drive you mad at first, but keep playing it, getting to know it, and you will get past it as long as you're willing to persevere. The game asks a lot from you and not everyone will be able to cope with this demand, that's for absolute certain. Now, a really cool feature is the replay feature. I can't stress enough how useful it is for you as a player. If you want to get good at this game, use the replay feature. You can save anyone's replay from the highest score menu. You can save it, you can watch it, and this gives you a lot of learning from other players. Now, watching some of the reviewers who were better than I was honestly a joy. This is a real game of skill, and those who master it are able to get those S ranks, for example. I suspect will be few and far between, which is why it's so impressive when you can watch someone else doing it. You can also play the game with a friend locally, but for me it just isn't as fun, for me anyway, as playing alone. And the reason for that in my case, and it won't be for all of you, is you need someone of equal skill to play with, or it becomes frustrating. It's much like watching synchronized swimming or something like that, only the swimmers are not very synchronized. So moving on to audio, this game is best played loudly, with the game's awesome soundtrack which just gets you hooked right from the beginning, but also plays a very significant part in actually learning the levels. It's very possible to listen for audio cues here as to which enemy is coming from where next. The explosions are grand and bullets sound awesome, and the music and sound effects for this game just sound epic. Ikaruga runs really smooth on Switch, both in docked mode and in handheld. I didn't have any issues with it at all. Everything moves in the game effortlessly, and even though the game is well over 10 years old, it still looks great. You have the opportunity to play both in vertical and portrait mode on the Switch, which is of course cool. You have the options to flip the screen whichever way you like. My only bone of contention, as always with these ports, is I just wish it used the whole screen, but I understand that this would mean redeveloping the game. Just make no mistake, going into this, it's one of the most difficult games you'll ever play, but because of that, it will give you a lot of hours of entertainment. It does take great dedication and mastery, and for that, it's going to demand iron will, determination, and many hours. If you've not got that in you, then stay clear, but if you have, then there's nothing better than mastering this wonderful game. Game is $15 in the US eShop, however there's no word at time of this review of the UK price. I suspect it will be £11 or $11.99. So on to my verdict. Ikaruga is a cult classic and is one of the best shooters to land on the Nintendo Switch, but it's also one of the most difficult and certainly not for everyone. This is not your traditional type shooter which requires amazing cat reflexes to get you through, although that certainly does help. This requires more. It demands more of you. Adding the polarity switch mechanic and the mastery of chaining, if you want to be anywhere on those leaderboards, is certainly going to test you. For those who just want to beat the game, then you may have to settle for switching the game to easy in the options, upping the lives and continues, and learning the game that way first. It will still be tough, and at least there is some accessibility for those lesser skilled of you. If you're a shooter fan, then this definitely has to make your collection, but just be warned in terms of the challenge posed by this one. An 8.5 out of 10. Now guys, if you enjoyed this review, would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. Also leave me a comment down below. It's really important to us to understand whether you like the reviews this way round, so talking about the gameplay earlier rather than, audio and visuals first. Do you like it this way round? We need to know from you in the comment section down below, because otherwise we'll switch it back to how it was before. So if you like it this way better, let us know. If you like it the way it was, then let us know, and at least that way we'll have a little bit of a better idea. For those of you that are new here that like reviews, then we do loads of those on our channel, so please hit that subscribe button. Would love to see you again on the next video. My name is Juan Romero from SwitchWatch. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you again on the next one. Take care.